This right here is every stone block in Minecraft. All the ores, all the deep slate and black stone, and even some weird stuff. I want to see if I can build a whole custom mountain using every single one of these blocks, no matter how weird and stupid they are. First things first, let's clear off this nice piece of land right here, get rid of all the trees, do a little bit of terraforming, and this will become the base of where our big custom mountain is gonna be. I want to kind of start with the more normal blocks, like, you know, the blacks and the grays and the whites and the kind of stuff you would like expect to see in a real Minecraft mountain, you know, like the normal blocks. If we kind of just pull a bunch of these together, you can see we can make this pretty expansive gradient. I mean, there's so many textures here. Definitely way more than I would ever use in a normal texture gradient, but we have a lot of blocks to use here, so let's get going. Of course, we're going to be starting with our darkest blocks, which is going to be blackstone. It may not look like that much, but it's the start of a big mountain. So yeah, that's something, right, buddy? Yeah? What do you think? Oh, he doesn't care. Okay. And more importantly, we've already knocked out 5 blocks. I'm gonna start throwing in some slightly lighter textures, right? Try and slope it inwards just a little bit. You know, from a distance, you can kind of see the gradient start to form here, right? It's not much yet, but keep in mind, guys, I'm freehanding all of this. I don't use any of that world edit or axiom or any of that stuff. I just do a whole lot of clicking. This kind of stuff takes its time, especially when you're working with so many random ass textures. Is gonna be a little bit janky at first. With the basalt down, I think we can start moving into some lighter and lighter textures. We can already cross off all of the different blackstone blocks, chisel deep slate, the deep slate tiles, and smooth and regular basalt. Let me get a few more gradient layers down on this mountain, and then we'll chat some more when we start throwing in the weird stuff. Sorry, buddy, you're getting sealed in. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there is a mountain being constructed around you. So, yeah, have fun in there. This is a giant lump. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mountain yet, but we're getting decently close to like the basic shape. And more importantly, we've been able to use a whole ton of different blocks, so all of these can get checked off of our list. And now that we got this thing here, as imperfect as it may be, I believe it's time to start getting into some of the weird blocks. You know, these guys. I did some like analysis of all these different colors. I really looked them over closely, and I've realized that we have kind of 5 main different bright varieties of colors here. We've got the dark reds, we've got the oranges, we've got the beige, we've got the vibrant bluish green of prismarine and dark prismarine, and even some of the warp stuff. And we've got bright red, which makes an appearance in more of the nether blocks and redstone and red nether brick. There's a whole lot going on here, but I have a cool idea for how I want to get these things implemented. Much like the every tree, which is of course a tree made using every wood block, this is going to be the every mountain, which means it's going to be a rich magical mountain full of magical ores and all sorts of different exotic materials that we can kind of fit into the sides of the mountain in the form of like ore veins. For example, here's a bunch of red blocks that I've managed to kind of stuff into this weird little vein here. This is going to be a fantastic way to really boost up our block usage. Same thing going on over here with all the cyan blocks, prismarine, warped stuff, even diamond. Are you the same chicken from inside the mountain? How did you get out? What are you doing here? Oh, okay, never mind. Different chicken. This one's still trapped. You, my friend, are never going to see the sun ever again. I hope you're okay with that. Another big one here with all of the different netherrack and nether brick blocks. You know, in a way, they're kind of like own mini biomes, like all protruding out of this mountain. Like this mountain is somehow producing all the different biomes and blocks in the game, and they're just like oozing out of these mountain in cracks like sludge. Like when you squeeze a sponge and all the water just comes out. Weird analogy, but you know, I'm trying my best to make sense of this, so just cut me some slack, you guys. This one is cool, but it just kind of looks like cheese is oozing out of the mountain. Like somebody filled the sponge with too much cheese, and now it's kind of dripping down the side. You gotta do what you gotta do to use up all those blocks, though. And now we have a mountain just totally chock full of randmass ore veins, but it actually looks kind of cool. Like the sides, at least. I've got some problems with the top. We got a little emerald one down there. Got a weird little reinforced deep slate and end stone thing going on here. These go together surprisingly well. Quite interesting. Got a copper one, got a little lapis one. You guys get the idea. It's a whole lot of random blocks stuffed into the sides of this very derpy looking mountain. But more importantly, we've really cleared the board here. I mean, just look around. All we've got left are like some of the white blocks. We got some obsidian, we got some coal, cobble, and mossy cobble blocks. And we've got all the weird ones. I really don't know what to do with these guys. I have my problems with this mountaintop already as is, but just combine that with the fact that I have to somehow find a place for all of these stupid like furnaces and stone cutters and pistons and whatever. I don't know what to do here. I am genuinely stumped. I'm gonna need to do some serious brainstorming on this one, guys, because I am running out of ideas and I really want to make this mountain work and actually look kind of decent, but in its current state, it's not really looking so hot, you know? It's kind of just a blob. I need a few minutes, guys. Hold on a sec. It's the next day in real life. I've taken some time to do some thinking, some plotting and scheming. And most importantly, I've spent some time working on the mountain and things are looking a little bit better. It's by no means complete, but I've finally changed the shape of the upper half of this mountain and now it looks a little bit less atrocious. Watching back my old footage from yesterday, what was I thinking with the top of this mountain? It looked terrible. Like, I think I kind of knew it, but I also like just kind of didn't. So I'm glad it's different now, trust me, I'm really glad. Which means we can cross all of these ugly diorite blocks off our list. Oh, and last thing, I added a few more blocks. They may not really be stone in the traditional sense, but they've all got the word stone in the name. So I just threw them in there anyways. But yeah, let's talk about how we're going to really spruce up this mountain. Cause you know, it's cool, it's got a lot of texture, it's got a funky little cone shape, but it's not that great right now. I'm thinking we can take this mountain and transform it into an active volcano. I wanna have this giant, insane rainbow of colors just billowing out of the top, exploding out of the top of this mountain here, using all the different colors we've included in our ore veins, the reds, the greens, the yellows, the blues, the oranges. Everything is going to be just shooting out of the top of this volcano like a giant rainbow vomit of blah, whatever. Oh man, that is such a weird shape and I think it kind of works. And I really like how I use the brighter colors towards the center and then they get darker and darker as you go out, and these red and cyan ones are definitely the best examples. It looks pretty cool from the sides and it arguably looks even cooler from the top. This looks a lot like my tree over there. I guess this kind of stuff tends to happen when you're working with like a million different blocks. All right, well that was fun, but we still have quite a few more blocks to go here. Some of them are gonna be knocked out pretty easily, like, you know, these things, but what are we gonna do with all of the weird ones? There's this funny little spot on the side of the mountain, right about here, where it makes this really awkward little curve. It like goes in and then continues going up, and I feel like you could totally make this space into something. I'm still cooking up all the little details, but I want to add a little interior to this side of the mountain here. Some sort of lair or maybe a science lab of some kind studying this weird rainbow volcano. I don't know. I mean, first things first, we got to dig a little hole here, bring this all back by quite a ways, get a little something going on here. Of course, we want to kind of build in the sides of the cave a little bit more, make it into like a real cave and not just a hole. Hello, sir. How are you? It's been a while. We're getting a nice little shape here with the back wall. I'm not taking up this entire space because that would be crazy. Bottom half's coming in nicely. Okay, yeah, that's a cave right there. It's not the best looking cave I've ever made, but all things considered, with the amount of materials we're working with here, it's not half bad. I want this cave to be the home of some sort of research station, some sort of remote outpost where they've drilled into the side of this mountain to collect samples and study the very strange nature of its things. We can add in some pillars for support, a strange obsidian floor, some lampposts on the inside and the outside, some tables and workbenches with all kinds of weird gizmos and gadgets on them. And with that, guys, there's only 8 blocks left to go. Out of the hundreds of unique blocks we've used in this build, we are down to just these. Some mossy stuff, some stone stuff, andesite, pistons, and bedrock. And I think I know exactly where these are gonna go. The pistons and sticky pistons can be like chairs for whoever is working in here, especially if we actually put the stair blocks on them and not forget like I just did. The stone slab can be used to smooth out a lot of these weird jagged edges up in the stone area. I've even got a couple already in there. The mossy cobble and mossy stone bricks can be used very sparingly in the sides of our mountain to kind of break up this very monotonous patch of gray right here. And fellas, that leaves us with one more. We're gonna put it in the place that matters most. Trapped forever. And with that, guys, I think that's just about it for the build. Check this out. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. The color, the shape, the textures, all the stupid little details we crammed in there at the last minute came together in the weirdest way possible. I don't really want to call this a good build. I don't really want to call this a bad build either. It's just one of the builds of all time? Let me know what you think of this mountain down in the comments. Is it cringe? Is it based? Is it something else entirely? This has been Leon. I'll see you guys later.